is the greatest player to have never played international football? I have to start this video off with the man behind me, Mikel Arteta. What a player he was during his career. Fantastic wherever he went. He was a true professional, a leader on the pitch, and often done the work that fails to be recognised by fans. Me and Cracky were talking about it this morning, and he was hugely underrated as a player. Not only for what I've just mentioned, but because he never even played for Spain. And whilst Arteta was a fantastic player, sadly during his career, Spain were stupidly stacked with midfield talent, and sadly, it meant Arteta was never going to get a sniff. Another man who fell victim to Spain's ridiculous depth in midfield was Atletico Madrid legend Gabi. One of the most underrated midfielders of his generation, Gabi played over 400 games for Atleti, captaining the side to 2 Champions League finals, league titles, Europa League success, yet never got a sniff for Spain. I was always very surprised that Sylvain Distin never played for France. Distin was always a very solid, reliable centre-back for the likes of Everton, Portsmouth and Bournemouth throughout his career. Whilst on paper the France squad was quite strong during Distin's career, the national team was an absolute mess and they were underachieving massively. I mean, for crying out loud, how can you call up Boomsong 29 times and not call up Distin once? I mean, at least Distin had the decency to announce his international retirement. Stede Malbranque was another one who never got called up by France, despite being a very good player for the likes of Lyon, Spurs, Fulham and Sunderland throughout his career. Obviously, there are a few English boys, and I'll never understand how Mark Noble was never called up for England, especially in the early 2010s when we weren't very good. He might be a scummer, but how Jimmy Case never played for England is absolutely beyond me. This is a man who was a regular at Liverpool for 8 years, winning 3 European Cups and 4 league titles, yet never played for the Three Lions. This is because then manager Ron Greenwood preferred out-and-out wingers rather than players like Jimmy Case. Bob Paisley also never understood it, saying that Greenwood's England will never play like Liverpool because they don't have Jimmy Case. John McGovern is a Nottingham Forest legend, captaining the side to 2 European Cups, yet somehow he wasn't good enough to play for Scotland. A little left wing shout, but Herman Cano is a striker who's been bagging goals in Colombia and Brazil. Over his last 4 seasons at Fluminense, he's bagged 109 goals, but sadly he's never been called up to Argentina, mainly because of his age. This one might shock a lot of people, but Paolo Di Canio never played for Italy. However, I think that's less to do with his ability and more to do with his personality. And now for the greatest player who never played for their country, it has to be Steve Bruce. Because of the way his managerial career has gone in recent years, I don't think a lot of people realise how good of a player Steve Bruce actually was. He was an absolute goal-getter of a centre-back.